When I got pregnant, huyu msichana na ni manager wa hapo na ni Mkenya. Wa Kenya. Hey, Yesu. Na ni Mkenya. She hated me so much and I'm thinking, you're a Kenyan. It's only the two of us in this company as Kenyans. Watu wengine wote ni foreigners. Why are you treating me like this? So because I was pregnant, alafu kila sana sikia, yeah, I go and hide. This woman reported me, a Kenyan like me, and I was fired. And I'm pregnant. Boyfriend ana kazi. So we are living in one room, one bed. Boyfriend akadecide analalanga katikati, this other girl this side, me this side. Can you imagine? One room. Na unasikia watu wanasema nataka kwenda majuu. It's never that easy. Sasa pressure ikaanza because I'm not working, boyfriend is not working. Huyo msichana peke yake ndiye analipa everything. One day we just came back.
Mkapata mmefukuzwa.
Amehama. Alihama katuachia nyumba. UK, fruits zile hazijanunuliwa, si kama hapa tutaweka tena uze kesho, yes. Wanazitupa. You know, they just chuck fruits hata kama iko hivi kidogo wanauza. Tunaenda tunachukua hizo mandizi manini, tunakuja tunakula. God alituweka na mtula anafanya kwa bakery. So this guy atakuja na breads nyingi, yes. Atatupa kwa bin. Akisha tupa amefunga mlango, tunaenda.
You creep.
Ameenda. Tunaenda tunachukua breads from the bin. So nikamwambia, ka boyfriend, you've slept with 23 women that I know. Me, I'm thinking ataniambia, pole nini. Unajua answer yake ilikuwa nini? Those are the ones you know. What about the ones you don't? Hiyo ilikuwa answer.
Shay.
That was the answer.
Where? Those are the ones you know.
Those are the ones you know. What about the ones you don't know? When they introduced me to this girl was the cousin. Okay? Ameza. Hey, my heart. Nikasema Ameza. Yeah, a baby boy. The way he was talking about this boy, like, nikamwambia kwani watoto wako si children vile unaongea? No. This is my baby boy. Baby boy that he doesn't even see anymore. This is my baby boy.
Hello and a warm welcome to LNS. My name is Lynn Ngugi. Now, I'm not even going to hide this from you guys. I've waited to host my guest today for a long time. Not only does she inspire me, but she's one of those people when you look around and you say, if Lydia has been through that and this is who she is right now, then even me myself, I can definitely make it. I'm about to let her introduce herself again, but before I do that, allow me to say thank you to our partners at Optiven for sponsoring this show. And you guys, you can check out the land that they are selling. Hapo Great Oasis Nanyuki. Get yourself a piece of land and you can call them on this number or directly reach Faith Esther on this number right here on the screen. And of course, our partners here at Westwood for giving us this therapeutic space so that we are able to bring you conversations that have the ability to impact lives. And now, without further ado, my people, please allow me to let my guest today introduce us. Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm good. And you?
I'm good. Mommy, you look, thank you. First of all, this is a dream come true. Me having you on my show. You are influential. And I know my audience are like, Lynn, wacha kiere, let her introduce herself. I know I gave away your first name, but please introduce yourself.
Oh, Lynn, thank you so much.
Yeah.
You just don't know how much I appreciate this. Okay, so my name is Lydia Tett Olet.
Yeah.
And I always say, I don't need to introduce myself because you can see my bracelets. They're all Kenya.
Yeah.
So I don't even need to introduce myself. As I walk in the street, people's like, oh, where's that flag from? I'm like, the best country in the whole world.
Yeah.
Kenya. Yeah, but I live in the UK and I've lived there for like 26 years now. But I do come to Kenya 3 times a year.
Yes.
I must, because for me, it's not about where I am, it's what I can give. So that's why I always come back to give, because I'm also a philanthropist.
Yes.
So I come back to give
Yeah.
where I was born and brought up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, apart from the COVID, I was away for 2 years and now I'm back.
You're back.
Yes.
Looking all sassy, and you are also a mom,
Yes.
a well-established businesswoman. Lydia, you know, I have to say, I like giving people flowers when they are still alive.
Yes.
I remember during my transition period, you are one of those people who kept telling me and encouraging me. Even before I decided to be my own brand,
Yes.
you would tell me, Lynn, you can do it.
Yes.
If people know the journey that we've been through together and how
Yes.
you even gave me a deal from World Remit, and I was like, oh my God, trust people to come
Yes.
through for you. So
Yes.
asante sana.
Yes,
Let me
that's
give you
fine.
your flowers when you are still here,
Oh,
because
thank you.
again, you know,
Thank you.
chukua zote, receive them
Asante.
with so much
Asante,
love.
asante.
Yeah, we see you sitting here looking all beautiful, glamorous, well spoken, well articulated, but you have been through so much. But you know, it's your ability to not stay on the ground and say, you know what, that's what I've been through, but that's not who I am. You know, you've been able to conquer so much. So before we even get started, maybe tell us where you were born so that we get to understand how you became this person that you are today.
I was born in Pumwani, right? And I lived in Isili.
Yeah.
You know, Isili is Islands. So, you know, and at that time it was really quite good. Now it's changed. I actually went there yesterday. I couldn't even remember where we lived.
Yeah.
So, from a family of 7, so we were five girls, 2 boys, and 2 have passed on. May their soul continue to rest in perfect peace.
Amen.
And then my upbringing wasn't that great. It wasn't great at all, to be honest. And I always say that, you know, you only give what you have. But also in giving what you have, you can actually break the cycle as well. Because there's this cycle of poverty, and so many of us, we've been conditioned to think of poverty or curse. We talk about curse, generational
curses.
Yes, or poverty, poverty curses, or poverty generation, and we don't think of generational wealth. We just talk about death, and you know, as an African or as a black community, but not all of us, just most of us.
Yes.
And then we don't have the will to break that cycle. But personally, when I was a little girl, my dad, I would say my dad wasn't poor. I always say we were not poor, but my dad misplaced his priorities. So it was all women and alcohol, okay? And because of that, well, the 7 children left. Do you understand? And I know because probably that's what he got when he was little. So he just got, his dad probably was, this was what his dad gave him.
Yeah.
So he carried it on. So instead of breaking the cycle, he thought, you know what, this is what I know, so this is what I'm going to give my children. So my dad was so abusive, Lynn. One day, he beat my mom, took all her teeth out. My mom had to run to the neighbor's house. They took this mwiko ya ugali, right? They cook ile cooking stick, wakarudisha meno. That's how bad my dad was. And because he loved Gor Mahia so much, so he was the greatest supporter of Gor Mahia. Every time, either they lose or they win, tutapigwa. So what is this? So what do you want?
That's how he celebrates.
That's how he celebrated.
Oh,
whether they lost
projects.
or he'll come home, we'll run, we'll sleep. Bata atakuja tatuamsha tunapigwa. My dad did that my brother, my elder brother, the one who passed on, was so scared of my dad. This guy was actually trembling anytime he saw my dad. And because my dad abused him over. You know, there's discipline and abuse.
Yes.
So and that's the thing that we as black people don't identify that there's abuse and discipline. And this was abuse. This wasn't discipline, because sometimes he used to take towel, right? A wet towel, aneka kwa my brother's bum, aneka mpaka salt, unachapwa. Why? Do you understand? So he really abused my brother. My brother was so scared of him. But me, on the other side, I was the rebellious one. Me nilikuwa nimeona hivi, hey, stairs, shoo, I won't wait. Atananiambia, ati kuja hapa. How can you call me kuja hapa kunipiga and I'm coming? Me, I'm off. But my brother, kuja hapa, he would just go because he was so scared. So my upbringing as a little girl wasn't really great. But I made up my mind that I will never, from when I was little, man, I had made up my mind that this is not going to be my life. I'm not going to live in poverty, and I'm not going to subject my own children, if I have them, to the same. And in fact, I always said I don't want children. I've always said I don't want children, because I was thinking, if I have children and I start treating them like this, what will happen? So in my mind, I was like, I'm not going to have children. If I do, they're not going to live the way I've lived. And this is not going to be my life either. So from just a little girl, I'd said it already. This is not me. So it's a mindset. That's what I always say. A lot of things are mindset stuff. And then also what you project. If you project negativity, that's what you become. But I was always positive.
Yeah.
I was always positive. At the age of 16, Lynn, I used to go to Marikiti at 3 in the morning. At the age of 16, what a 16-year-old, I'm supposed to be at school.
In high school.
In high school, but I'm not at school, because every time when wananirudisha nyumbani, I've no paid school fees. I've no paid school fees all the time. So I just hated school because of that. I was like, sasa kidogo umerudi, watoto wanakucheka. You know how boarding school is.
Yes, yes.
Wale mabulis pia wako hapo wanakungoja kukucheka.
And the rich kids.
And the rich kids. Unaona? So I think because of that, I just had this defense mechanism, and that was being rebellious. So I was really, really rebellious. That at the time when I was having my own kids, I actually prayed to God and I said, don't let any of my child follow my footsteps. But it's because of the upbringing. And then because I was this person with a very strong personality, my mom now took advantage of that, in the fact that I was protecting her. Anytime my dad was beating my mom, I was the one protecting her all the time. But I was the third born. So the first one wasn't doing it myself, because the first one and the second one, they were like quiet people. But me, I was like the loudest.
Yes.
So I was like, you cannot beat my mom. You can't do that. One day, my dad he beat my mom. We were eating. I don't even know what happened. Nikasikia tu gali, pa! Mama yangu ameshatupiwa sijui nini. I took a bottle. Nikasema, if you touch that woman again, I don't know if I was going to use it. I don't even know, but I said, ukishika huyo mwanamke tena, just touch her and see. Because I'd had enough. Like, now we are older. You're still beating this woman in our presence. What is this? So, you know, so my upbringing wasn't really great. But as much as we're fighting, we're still sisters and brothers. It's still family. And my mom, I love that woman to bits. I love my dad as well, but not like I love my mom. Because with my dad, I had to work. You know, loving somebody should be natural.
Yes.
Not that you work towards it.
It shouldn't be work.
It shouldn't be work.
Yeah.
But you see, with my dad, I had to work. But with my mom, I just love that woman. So that 16-year-old child, when that child, who is Lydia Tett Olet, used to go to Marikiti at 3 a.m. And then I come back with mahindi and maembe. So you see our mjengo. So I go and boil the maize, and then nakuja naika kwa kichwa. Mahindi yauzwa, maembe, mahindi. That's what I used to do at the age of 16. All that money, when I come back home, nita divide for my mom. I never kept a penny. I'll give my mom, and then the rest, bado tena, Marikiti kesho, sindio?
Yeah.
That's what I did. From the age of 16, I knew that I'm going to be a businesswoman. I knew I'm going to be great. From that time.
You knew.
I knew I'm going to be great. I knew I was made for greatness. And I said, I'm going to follow these footsteps of greatness until I get there. I'm not going to stop.
Wow.
Because I saw my mom struggle. This woman, Lynn, if I tell you the things my mom went through, there's a time, mamangu alikuwa anauza mpaka magazeti. You know those magazeti, they come. Alafu you pile.
Yes.
And my dad really loved to read them.
Yeah.
But we steal them. Zikishakuwa mingi. Akikuja vita. But my mom ameenda ameuza. There's a time my mom was selling, I don't know if there's anything this woman did not sell.
Yeah.
Just to bring us up. But my dad, he had work. He was working. This guy had money. So it's not like he didn't have money. So
it was a choice.
Yes,
He
he chose the wrong
Yes,
path.
yeah.
But my mom chose the better path. Because don't tell me that my mom she knew the same thing anyway.
Yes, yeah.
Because all her parents were in the village and you know those days. But she's happy now.
Yes.
She was running errands here and there. She was kind of a businesswoman, but just small here and there, here and there. And to feed all 7 of us, it
Yes.
wasn't easy.
Yeah.
And then our last born sister also passed on. May her soul rest in peace. She had special needs. And because at that time, even we're talking now, people still treat anybody with special needs so bad, like they're outcast. People treat them bad, even now. So imagine those days. So we didn't understand.
Yeah.
At that time, we didn't understand what's happening to my sister. So I'll admit, Lynn, and I've said it so many times, we treated her really bad because we didn't know. We just saw like, why is this person different? Why are you like this? Why can't you read? Why are you behaving like this? Do you understand? So we called her, we called her names, and then my mom took her to Lutheran school. And when she was in Lutheran school, nobody even paid a visit. You know, it was so sad. But when I now went to the UK, and then I now started learning different cultures. I started seeing how they're treating special needs people, and I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. So, wow, okay, hang on. So these people are humans as well. They're supposed to be treated with so much love. So anytime I came back, now I'll give that to my sister. Do you understand?
Was it heavy on you that you guys did not see it from the beginning, that she needed that?
I felt so horrible, Lynn. I felt so bad. But then I have my younger sister who follows me. For her, I don't even know how she knew this. She loved her. She was the only person who treated her differently. But she was there with us. So I think, again, it's a choice. So do you want to join people to mock someone, or do you want to not join them to mock them? So we, other siblings, we were just mocking my sister. But my sister who follows me directly, she lives in America, she loved her dearly. So they were like this. But when I now left and I started learning different things, then I came back and I gave it back. I gave her the love that she deserves. And now everybody was out different. We now started understanding that, oh, she's different because of what she has, because of this and that. And I love the fact that before she passed on, she experienced so much love from all of us.
Yes. Yeah.
But that wasn't good.
That wasn't good.
Nah.
Yeah. But you see, I love what you say. It's a choice. So do you choose to still say, I had a right to treat her the way you owned up.
Yes, we did.
And you extended all the love, which is really nice. It's really nice. So your high school was pretty messed up.
What? Damn, pretty messed up, you say? It was more than that. That's not even the word.
Yes.
Oh my God, that was horrible. My schooling, so I didn't like school because of that. So it was, I'm here, I'm there, I'm here, I'm there. It was, but at least I managed to finish Form 4. I got expelled in one school. That's how bad it was. Oh God, that was horrible.
Yes. Yeah.
I got expelled in one school. So my mom took me to a different school. So I was in Kisumu, right? In Bondo or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
And because that's where I come from, my mom now took me from there and took me to Kambani, okay? Where now language barrier, everything is different.
Yes.
Right? So I don't know whether it was like a punishment or what. But even there, I went in Nika blending like usinilete ujinga spendi, blended in.
Yeah.
But still, it was the same thing. Narudishwa nyumbani. So it was a struggle, but at least I finished Form 4.
Yeah. And
with ease and use.
With ease and use. How much did you score, Lydia?
Ease and use. That wasn't good, man. That wasn't good. I tell my children, we laugh. I say, don't mind your mom.
Yeah.
She got ease and use.
Ease and use. And I'm not discouraging people from being performers and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
But I've witnessed that sometimes we put so much pressure on our kids to have A's and B and stuff that we don't see past the grades.
Yes.
You just see the grades, and if they don't bring those home, you are like, my child is a failure. It shouldn't be so.
No, it shouldn't be so.
Yeah.
And also, as we put pressure, is for who? For whose benefit?
For us,
is
as
it for
parents.
Yes, because
yes.
Unajua vile watu watasema. People are talking. So nini? Why are you putting that pressure for? Is it for you or for the children?
Yes.
So now that's another thing.
Yeah. So you got your E's and U's.
Yes.
And they were okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I was okay with it.
Yes.
Of course, my parents were livid.
Yes.
And I was thinking, why are you angry? It's even because of you I'm getting this. Do you remember the last time you paid my fee?
No.
When I was at school, when I was studying, and if I'm home, I was working, clean the house, do this.
Being
I go to
beaten.
Markiti,
Yes.
being beaten. So why are you angry that I got this? Okay, I didn't ask them now. You know, you can't ask
yes.
them.
But in your heart,
In my heart,
you're
I'm
like,
like,
why are you angry?
why are you angry?
What's the anger for, Mom?
Yes, I tried my best, and my
Yeah.
best is the you and the is. That was my best because of what I went through.
Yes.
But the only thing with me, Lynn,
Yeah.
as much as I didn't like school, I've always been focused. I've always been a focused person. I've always said, I'm going to be that great person. E or A, I'm going to get there. You understand?
Yeah.
So because they always say that it's not how you got there. You got there at the end.
Yes.
Do you
the
understand?
end justifies the means.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I was like, whether I've got E's or A's or whatever, I'm going to still be rate
Yeah.
than that person who got the A's.
Yes.
Okay, and
Yeah.
education is plan A. That's the best thing to have, because if you have education, nobody can take that from you. But the thing that we have to realize is some people are not made for books. So try and look at okay, what's your talent? What's your gift? What's your skills? Why can't we use those things? Why is it always you have to be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer? If you're number 4, you're a failure. How does that work? So we have a lot of people who fall in this number 4. But parents don't want to see that. They just want you to be in this street. You understand? And for me, because of even what I went through as a child, I made up Lynn, I'm telling you, I made up my mind that this cycle, I'm going to break it. I'm not going to put pressure on my kids if I was to have them, because I was like, I'm not going to have kids. And I will never in my life allow my children to fight physically. That's something I'd say, because in my house we really used to fight physically, and I brought I brought that physical fight though. But we used to fight a lot, and I used to beat my sisters, and we're fighting, and I'm thinking this is not healthy. But because it's been normalized,
Yeah.
everybody say, oh, but it's okay. It's not okay,
In
Lynn.
Africa.
Violence is never okay. Violence is never okay, and that's where it starts. Unaona watoto 2 years and 4 years, they're fighting physically, fighting. That you're gonna carry it. Physical fighting, violence is never ever okay. My children, they've never fought physically. Not even kuchuna hivi ati slap. Nah. Even when my first daughter was 18, nikamwambia, I told the two, now your sister is 18, so she's an adult. Okay? So ukileta nyok anaweza kukufinya hivi kidogo. So I told her, now you're 8, now you're an adult. So mtu akileta ananiambia, mom, how do you even do that? How do I start? I've never done it before. So I can't do it.
Yeah.
They can't do it.
They can't do it.
No.
Yeah. So how does this girl from Marikiti, this high schooler that scored E's and U's, this woman who is determined to conquer the world, how does she end up in the UK? And what are we going to do in the UK?
Exactly.
Yes.
So, this is funny.
Yeah.
So, because I didn't get any qualification to take me anywhere, so I started, I've always been an artist. This is something I've always loved. I've always been a dancer. I've always been a singer. But my dad was, so he's later realized that this is just something I took from my dad. So in my family, we all have somebody who is an artist. Either you're drawing or you're singing or you're dancing. We have that. And I started dancing with Jabali Africa. They're now actually in America doing so well. Okay, so I started dancing with Jabali Africa. We were dancing in Intercontinental Hotel. African dance, no those strip, no, the pole ones.
Yes,
No.
Just to be clear.
Just to be clear out there.
Yeah.
Just African dance. And I hid it from my parents, because there's no way you can be that. What?
Yes, what's that?
Kwani weni malaya tena? Sijui weni nini? You know the way they attach these things. They just give them really negative names. So I was dancing, bringing money. They didn't even know what I was doing. But I was going to Safari Park. Is it Safari Park?
Yeah.
Yeah, Safari Park to dance.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm going to Intercontinental, and I'm dancing at African Heritage. And then now it got too much, because now lazima nikwe nje all the time. So I now had to tell my parents, and I was so scared. But funny enough, my dad took it well than my mom, because he was an artist, but he didn't even realize. So my mom said, okay, as long as you go to college and do secretarial. And I'm thinking, what? Now again I have to do it because I want to make my parents proud, not me. So I had to do it anyway. So I was doing secretarial, and I was paying my way through, because now I had the money, because I was getting paid. So I paid my way through to college. Years wasted, everything, I'll tell you, because I've never used that. Those are ile siku za typewriter. Alafu na sijui shorthand, unaandika mavitu.
You know, there's an entire generation watching us that went to school and took the wrong courses just because their parents told them to.
Pressure.
Pressure. Applied kabisa. Yes.
I went to your college almost 2 years, paying with my own money though. So my mom was like, as long as I'm paying for it. So she's thinking, okay, this is just a passion, according to her. But me, it's my career. But she's thinking, oh, this is just a passion, it will pass. By the time this passion passes, akuna secretarial job. Sasa tutamtafutia kazi kwa ofisi sijui ya nani mwingine. I was like, these people don't even know me, you know. So people, you know, watu kujanga kuwapeleka majuu. And me, every time nimesikia ati, sijui nani yuko National Theatre, I'm there. So I started dancing with the mushroom as well.
Yeah.
So we started going tunaenda. So I used to dance with the mushrooms as
Yeah.
well. Tunaenda. So one day, I traveled to so many countries, Dubai mostly, Dubai, Abu Dhabi. I went to a lot of countries.
Yes.
But when I went to the UK, I saw the reception of artists. I saw how they respected artists. They treated us like sisi ni ma-ish, celeb. I was like, this country have to come back. I don't know how. I'm gonna come back. So nilikuwa kila saa niko naenda, because I used to dance in Machakos as well. Nikiingia kwa hizo matatu, I sit like this and I look up, naona mandege. Nasema, hiyo ndege, nitapanda by myself. See, na group, because we used to travel with groups. So kila saa, and I said that for almost a year. Every blessed day. Nilikuwa naenda hata kwa mire nasema, ndege, nitapanda. For almost a year. And then, when we went to the UK, because we went to so many countries, but hakuna ile country linishika, but UK, nikasema, I'm coming back. How, what, I don't know, but I'll be back. So my auntie used to work kwa hizi mambo za ticket. Nikaenda tu nikamwambia, auntie, I want to go to the UK. At the UK, kufanya nini? Siku dance. Sisi vile tulienda huko tukakuwa received vizuri, sasa mimi nataka kurudi. Ignorance, Lynn, because me I'm thinking, the place that we performed, like let's say where you did your show example, because that's where we performed. I'm thinking I'll go back there and tell them, oh, you remember me dancing? Not knowing that hizo ni space tu wanapatianga watu. Once umemaliza kudance, they don't even know who you are again. That day is gone. So my auntie helped me. Nikamwambia nikifika UK, I'll pay your money back for the ticket. And trust me, I did that within a year when I went to the UK. She paid for my ticket. But my auntie did that because she knew how focused I was. Lynn, me, I didn't even have boyfriends until I was 20 years old. And my first boyfriend at 20 years old, nearly, the father of my 3 children. Because I was so focused that alcohol, smoking, drugs, boys, nah. Me, I was like zima nifike UK kwanza, where I want to go. Ndio nitaanza kuangalia hizi vitu zingine. But pressure ya shule, college, hiyo ya secretarial. Ati you don't have a boyfriend? Oh my God, Lydia, ujui kitu na miss. So that boyfriend, I got it through pressure. Then alinipatia watoto 3, so it's fine. But huyo nilimpata through ile pressure ya watu, If I know what I know now, I wouldn't have, I was like, your life is your life. Don't project your fears on me. But that time I didn't know that.
You met in Kenya or in the UK?
Yeah, no, we met in Kenya.
Okay.
And then, so after that, we were together, and then I went to the UK now. My aunt paid for me because vile nilimwambia nitalipa ticket. Atasema, I know you'll do it. I know you will do it. So I'll pay for your ticket. Because my mom, of course, couldn't afford it. So nikaenda UK. Kuingia, Lynn, kuchapa kazi like mad. Sasa nikarudi, nikaanza kuuliza watu, tulikuja tukaperform ali fulani, I had the flyer kwenda huko, ananiuliza, who are you? Nasema, oh, we performed. Akasema, no, this is just a space that we give people to perform, so you can't, we don't know, this is not it's not like a national theater or something. Sasa nikarudi square one.
So you're going there as a visitor in
I went
the UK?
There in the UK.
Yes.
Okay, as a visitor. And that time, tulikuwa tunaishi kwa room moja. Kenyans karibu wa 20. Mwingine amelala. Tunafanya kazi ya kuosha hoteli, tunapanguza, you know that chambermaid job.
Yes.
Tunapanguza macho. That's what I was doing. But for me, it was I have to pay my auntie money, and then I also have to get money to bring my boyfriend. Okay, because I left him here. So I have to bring him as well.
Yes.
Right? So I worked, Lynn. I worked. And all the money nilikuwa na divide 3 times. Ile nalipa rent UK and everything, because that time life wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
And then ile naenda kwa auntie yangu, ile naenda kwa boyfriend yangu. Yeah, so evil. So I worked. And then one day, nimeenda kwa club. And then I saw these guys were performing. Yes. So, because I'm an artist, I'm a dancer already.
Yes.
So nikaenda
It's in
me.
Yeah.
Nikaenda nikawa join kwa stage. So akifanya, put your hand like this, ninafanya. Do this, nafanya. So when we finished, this guy came to me, akasema, hey, you're such a good dancer. Nikamwambia, yeah, I'm a dancer. Akaniambia, where? I danced in Kenya, nikampa story. Akaniambia, okay, chukua hii card. Pigia watu, it's a dancing company. So for 10 years, all I did in the UK, professional dancing with a company called Ajido Pan-African Dance Ensemble. It was a proper job, Lynn. Tunaingia 9, tunatoka 6. Hiyo saa yote ni rehearsals. And then sale wako na performances, and even the group used to travel. We were like 30 of us in the group, proper African dance.
Yes.
Tuko mpaka na coach. It was proper, and because it's now in the UK, the respect is there. They value artists. It's not like here artists wanatreatiwa like sijui what.
Yes.
Africa is not like
Yes.
Africa where artists are not really recognized. So UK, they really recognize their artists. Artists are number one. Hata kukiwa na artist na doctor,
Yes.
I think wataangalia artist first.
Yeah.
You know, because they know the importance of an artist.
Art.
They know the importance. Unajua when you're depressed, when you're stressed, what do you listen to? Music.
Music.
Unaona?
Yes, it's therapeutic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have to respect the artist. So I danced there for 10 years, and then I had when I got that job, I had my first baby, my first daughter already.
The boyfriend had already come.
Yeah, he
Hey,
came.
tupeleke pole pole.
Oh.
No, this is the part. we are not in a rush.
Oh,
So you saved enough.
So I saved enough,
And the boyfriend came.
and then the boyfriend came,
Yes.
and then he joined me 1 year later. I was so na watu walikuwa wananiona. Watu walikuwa wananiambia, Lydia, hey, ukimlete tu hivi hata kuacha, hata ninasema never. My love and that guy is solid, like never. Hawezi kuniacha. Mimi, I was there, I'm just thinking of him every time, work, think of him. So he came back, he came a year later and joined me.
And how old was he?
How old? We were young. He was
He
probably
was
just 20s.
Yes.
Yeah, we were young.
Yes.
Yeah, he's maybe just 2 years older than me. And then when he came, we didn't have papers. Unajua chini ya maji, yes. Sasa yuko chini ya maji, and mimi as well niko chini ya maji.
Chini ya maji.
So work is hard. But I got a job kwa hii kutengeza sandwiches.
Yeah.
So I'm making sandwiches, and then I got pregnant. So unakumbuka yuko sasa? And then I got pregnant. When I got pregnant, huyu msichana na ni manager wa hapo na ni Mkenya. Wa Kenya. Hey, Yesu. Na ni Mkenya. She hated me so much, and I'm thinking, you're a Kenyan. It's only the two of us in this company as Kenyans. Watu wengine wote ni foreigners. Why are you treating me like this? So because I was pregnant, alafu kila sana nasikia, yeah, I go and hide. This woman reported me, a Kenyan like me, and I was fired. And I'm pregnant. Boyfriend ana kazi. Mimi nimekuwa fired. Okay. Tutaishi aje? Lynn, my first pregnancy was the hardest thing in life. Sasa, and I lived with somebody as well. I'm not going to say who it was, but it's somebody that was really close to me that we loved. But I've forgiven her and I love her so much now, so that's gone. Yeah. But huyu msichana alitupatia pressure, mimi na boyfriend. So we are living in one room, one bed. Boyfriend akadecide analalanga katikati, this other girl this side, me this side. Can you imagine? One room. Na unasikia watu wanasema nataka kwenda majuu. It's never that easy. I suffered. I saw mtu saiza akinipatia ticket ningerudi Kenya. Alafu Kenya pia narudi to what?
Yeah.
You understand?
People wanajua uko majuu.
Yeah.
You have a reputation to protect.
Yes, pressure. So we are living in one room. Me, ka boyfriend, and this other lady. 3 of us. Tunalala kwa kitanda moja. You know? And then sasa pressure ikaanza because I'm not working, boyfriend is not working. Huyo msichana peke yake ndiye analipa everything. Yeye ameanza pressure sasa. Haizi kunini kufanya hizo vitu zote peke yake. Mpaka kaandikia watu wa boyfriend ati Lydia natesa huyu boyfriend, mtumieni ticket arudi Kenya. How can you do that? Unaona? Akasema ati anasafa, boyfriend anasafa, they don't even have a job, wanafanya tu hivi. At the end, because now mi na kerere yangu nikamgombeza nini, one day we just came back.
Mkapata mmefukuzwa.
Amehama. Alihama katuachia nyumba. Amehama ametuachia ka room. How are we going to pay for this room? Both of us are not working. How are we going to pay for it?
And you're pregnant.
And I'm pregnant.
Kwamua maono yako na Optiven. Get a piece of land at the Great Oasis Gardens Nanyuki. Deposit or place an installment of 590k on any of Optiven's projects and get an instant 15k cashback.
Ka landlord anakujanga kila saa. Rent, sijui nini tunamdanganya, every time tunamdanganya, sijui nini, every time tunadanganya. And at that time, Lynn, do you know what I used to do? We used to eat. So unajua ni hizi subletted houses. So it's one house and then there's so many rooms. So we had one room. But you see how God works. I'm telling you, God is awesome. Mtu ule anasemanga kuna Mungu, I'll slap that person to hell. There is God in heaven. God alituweka na mtu ule anafanya kwa bakery. So this guy atakuja na breads nyingi,
Yes.
atatupa kwa bin. Akisha tupa, amefunga mlango, tunaenda.
You creep.
Ameenda. Tunaenda tunachukua breads from the bin. Amezitupa mpaka na
Zile wrap.
So, you know, one day we tuliba maziwa yake kwa fridge. Akakuja akasema, who stole her milk? Akasema naita polisi. Tulirudisha hiyo maziwa. Hatuna makaratasi.
Mmefukuzwa Kenya. Hatuna makaratasi, polisi wanaitwa.
Polisi waitwe.
That's deportation.
Immediately. Juu umeiba maziwa.
Yes.
Na uko na mimba wewe. Na huyu
No.
boyfriend pia ameacha kazi. Na boyfriend alikuwa na kazi mzuri Kenya.
Yes.
Alikuwa anafanya na Coca-Cola, very big company. But aliacha kwa sababu ya the promises I gave him. Nikamwambia, you can poa, alafu zile pesa mtumia. Maybe if I told him the truth, angekuja. But you know, pia nataka boyfriend.
Yes. And you're in love.
And I'm in love, like ile crazy love.
Yeah.
So akakuja. So we suffered. Sasa what we used to do, and at that time this guy was really nice. He used to cry on my behalf because tunaenda hospitali kufanywa ile antenatal. Wananiambia your child is very small. You need to eat. Analia. Namwambia, sweetie usilie, tuta-manage. So you know, sasa tunashikana. The love was nice, Tunashikana hivi mkono, tunatembea. Unaona mahali wanauza fruits. They sell fruits. Alafu UK, fruits zile hazijanunuliwa. Si kama hapa tutaweka tena uze kesho.
Yes.
Wanazitupa. You know, they just chuck fruits. Hata kama iko hivi kidogo wanauza.
Yeah.
Tunaenda tunachukua hizo mandizi, manini. Tunakuja, tunakula. Siku ingine mtu akaniambia, Lydia, you don't know about credit card? When you apply credit card, nikaenda nika-apply credit card. It was 500 pounds. Silinunua kuku ile mkubwa hivi. Tulikula. Tulicelebrate. Tumenunua kuku. So, but I suffered with my firstborn. But even, bado hapo, I'm still focused. Nasema nikishaza is because nilikuwa sick. I couldn't work.
Yes.
Nikasema nikishaza huyu mtoto.
Game on.
Game on. Weka tu hapo. Ukishatoka hivi,
Nivo.
game on. So tukaendelea. So I had my baby. So mtu akani advise ati niende kwa social. The only good thing with the difference between Kenya and UK or kwa majuu, like they call it, the government helps a lot if you have the right information. So somebody akaniambia, unateseka hapa nini? Enda kwa government, uambie hivi, uongo mingi hapo atakusaidia. Si nikaenda. Nililala hapo kwa kitia wananiambia, excuse me, it's time to go. Nikamwambia, I'm not going anywhere because I have nowhere to go. What do you mean? Nikasema, the guy who made me pregnant, I don't know where, ametoroka, I'm by myself, I don't know anything. I'm a foreigner, I can't even speak proper English, so I don't know what to do. Haya, wakaanza kupiga masimu huku, wakapiga masimu, wakanipeleka kwa hostel. Hapo sasa ndio breakthrough ilianza. Wakanipeleka kwa hostel. Wakishanipeleka kwa hostel, so wakanipatia this bed, because it's a single bed, right? So boyfriend anakuja, tunapatiana chocolate. Huyo mtu anataka tu chocolate, huyo mzungu mwingine hapo ati tumpatie chocolate alafu ache boyfriend alale.
Oh, wow.
And boyfriend analala na mimi kwa that bed, na mimi mimba ni hapo. Naeka boyfriend saa zile sasa yuko na mimi, so when it's a manager on duty haizi kulala hapo. Anaenda kwa aunti yake. Alikuwa naishi kwa sela huko, kwa sela aunti yake. Majuu unaweza kuteswa Lynn. Mateso bila chuki.
It's not what we think.
Majuu is not what anybody thinks. People need to tell people the truth. Tuache watu wa majuu wache kudanganya watu. It's horrible. Alikuwa analala kwa sela, and huyu ni aunti yake. Sasa analala na majackets, mpaka akashikwa na ugonjwa. Analala na majackets, everything, because sela is cold. Tukateseka hivyo wawili. Hata nashangaa. Tukateseka hivyo, then I had the baby sasa. So ukishazaa huwezi kaa kwa hostel, because hostel kuna watu wanafanya drugs, you know, it's not safe for the child. So wakanitafutia nyumba, a 1 bedroom. So nikaenda kwa 1 bedroom. So of course now 1 bedroom, the boyfriend can come. It's my house now.
It's your house now.
Yeah, so nikaishi hapo na yeye. Kustruggle. So hapo ndio from there, because I had my firstborn, that's when I met wale madancers. So when I was joining this dancing company, nilikuwa na my firstborn already.
Okay.
And bado nafanya kazi ngapi Lynn? I wasn't even sleeping. Nafanya hiyo dancing because inaisha 6. Nikimaliza naenda kwa another job, Bernardo 16+ to look after these children. All these children wamefukuzwa nyumbani, so they have a center. Nafanya kazi huko mpaka 6 asubuhi. Nikimaliza Nikimaliza na sasa niko na my firstborn, right? Nikimaliza ninaenda kwa nyumba na lala for only 2 hours. Usisahau kazi yangu naanza 10. Naoga tena naenda kazini. I did that for almost a year. I got pregnant with my secondborn. I even had a miscarriage because I was still working. Kwa sababu ka boyfriend kalikuwa baada akajapata makaratasi vizuri na kalikuwa si mtu chap, not proactive at that time. Now he's very proactive, but that time was just like alizoea maybe kazi ya Kenya, so he's just not proactive. But me, I've always been this person since I was little, sharp. So that was the struggle. And then I got my secondborn, Lynn. So ka boyfriend, because alikuwa na makazi tudogo hivi akapata gari. Akanunua gari. Hii gari, I don't know how to drive, right? Nikimwambia nipeleke shopping. No. Story. Wasichana wengine wakimwambia peleke shopping, ameenda. Nikasema, I'm going to learn how to drive by myself. So nikiingia hivi kwa gari nauliza mtu, hii ni nini? Ati ni gear. Na this one? Ati na this one? 3 a.m. I will leave my house every day. That's what I'm telling you. Wacha mtu kukwambia ati you can make it. No, you have to put the work in. You have to. Ningekaa tu hapo kwa kitanda ati yes, I can drive one day. Singe drive. Yeah. And I'm pregnant with my secondborn. Nataka niende shopping, nataka nifanye, I can't. Gari iko hapo.
Na boyfriend ameanza madharau. Haizi hata kunipeleka. Nilikuwa naamka 3 a.m. na stocking kwa kichwa na night gown. Ninaenda kulearn how to drive. Unajua sasa kuna watu? Yes. So ile vitu watu walikuwa wananiambia fanya hii, I'm applying them. Hey, saa zingine nagonga gari ya mtu nampigia simu. Nimegonga gari na bado uko hapo. Ati toka hapo. Natoka aje? Sasa sijui kutoka. Alafu saa zingine na drive na stop hivi watu kwa barabara. Can you park for me? You know, Lynn, I learned how to drive by myself and I was pregnant. When nikaenda kufanya theory, sasa tumbo imefika hivi ya my secondborn. I passed that day. Kwanza nilichelewa nikaingia kama nimejishika hivi. I'm here for the exam. Waliniangalia tu hivyo. Unajua UK ukichelewa 1 minute. 1 minute.
That's it. Mimi nimechelewa 5 minutes.
And they let you in.
Waliangalia hivi wakasema, hey Yesu, ingia ufanye exams. Nikapita. That was theory. Tena nikaanza sasa kutrain myself. Sasa najua kudrive. Tena nikafanya practicals. Nikapita tena. So, everything I touch, I always say it's going to prosper. Good. Because I'm that focused. Yeah. So, hakuna mtu anaweza kuniambia you cannot do it. Yes. I've always said I'll do it because I remember where I came from. Yeah. And I have to focus where I'm going. Yeah.
Wow. Jesus Christ. Lydia. You know, I also did not know this part of your story. I know, right? So now you have your firstborn, your secondborn. The journey continues.
The journey continues, and then now I'm dancing. So now at least I have a proper job, and I'm also doing the night one. Yeah. But when I now had a miscarriage and everything, nikacha the night one. So now nikapata secondborn. So I have 2 now. Yeah. And then 3 years apart, tena nikapata mwingine. And I was working for BBC at that time. I was working for BBC, teaching celebrities how to dance. So I was doing it was really good. And I found out I'm pregnant with the 3rd one. Hi! Nikasema sasa Lydia, sasa ini nini? Kwa sababu sasa you cannot continue. You have to give this job up. Anyway, I was looking at the job and the pregnancy. I'm like, it's not, you cannot balance these two. So let me just leave it. Nikata the job, but now I'm still smart. I'm still doing small things here. Hi, Lynn nilikuanga natoka kwa nini najipeleka hospitali kuzaa. Unaongea nini? My secondborn. I worked. Hiyo siku nilikuwa natoka hivi kwa nyumba nikasikia pain. Nikaita daktari. Nikaenda hospitali. I was that strong because her boyfriend was never there for me. Hi. Sika boyfriend kalinitesa. I can say where you say it calmly. You know, when people talk about domestic violence and people talk about sijui akaniacha akafanya, me I just laugh because I'm like, girl, I went through that. Okay, it wasn't physical. With him, it wasn't physical, but emotional. It was physical when we were in Kenya. Nilikuwa nachapa mpaka na mawe, but because I saw my mom go through it, I thought it was the norm. So I stayed. Ananipiga na kasirika 2 days at 2 na tukiona tuona au baby nimekumiss, nonsense. Hiyo ilikuwa physical Kenya, but when we went to the UK, now let me tell you why he stopped physical. Tukaenda UK. I have my firstborn. Sasa rewinding, right? Yes. Why he stopped beating me. nimezaa mtoto wangu yuko 3 months, my firstborn. Tumeenda kwa ni party. We used to go to parties and then tunakaa mpaka asubuhi because hatuna transport, so lazima tungoje ndio tutumie public. So kufika usiku nikasema I need to go because mtoto and everything. Akasema you're not going. You're waiting for me. You're not going. Unajua vile wanakuanga arrogant. Nikasema okay. Mimi naenda na kuacha. Akasema nikienda niache mtoto. Nikamwambia mtoto wa nani seriously? How can I leave a 3 months old baby na wewe na unakunywa pombe? Sasa nikatoka na mtoto nje. Si mvulana alinifuata. Si boyfriend alinichapa. Si mimi nilikuwa na scream. UK, you're playing. Polisi walifika karibu 8. Gari pa. Wameitwa na neighbors. Aliyekuwa ndani mpaka the next day. The guy never touched me again physically. Never.
He has to protect himself ama he'll be deported.
Deportation straight away. Hakuwa iniguza.
Yeah.
So UK alinipiga tu once na hakuwa iniguza tena.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it's not because that he needed to stop, it's because he had to.
So unaona wanaume wanapiganga wanawake.
Yeah.
They can stop. It's a choice. You can stop. Ona huyu alipelekwa jela kwa nini once na aka stop. So it's something you can stop. You can't say I don't know how to stop. I don't know how to do. You can stop. It's a choice. So it didn't beat me anymore. But emotional abuse. Lynn, wanawake hivi. Square man. Siku ingine I counted how many women. So nikamwambia ka boyfriend, you've slept with 23 women that I know. Me, I'm thinking ataniambia pole nini. Unajua answer yake ilikuwa nini? Those are the ones you know. What about the ones you don't? Hiyo ilikuwa answer.
Shay.
That was the answer.
Where? Those are the ones you know.
Those are the ones you know. What about the ones you don't know? Na kwambia mpaka sasa kuna wasichana wengine unipigia UK wananiambia, niliambiwa tu ndiye alikuwa ex wako. Oh my God, the guy was this. Naambia yeah, he was my ex. That's why he's my ex. But alimpatia 3 beautiful angels.
You're good. You know, I was listening to something and someone, I think someone made this, there's a lady who has, I think, 3 different baby daddies. She's a mom of 3, yeah? And someone asked her, why do you have so many baby daddies? And then she's like, my children are the reward of those failed relationships. It's like people expect when a marriage fails, you should be sorry, but you have 3 beautiful babies.
Yes.
So this is the reward that you got.
That's the
At least
reward.
something good came from, you know, all the troubles that you went through.
Ah, my God. One day my children wakaniuliza, Mom, if you're to go back and do it again and then don't have us, but don't suffer the way you did, what would you take? Nikasema, I'll suffer triple to have you girls.
I love that.
Because you're a blessing. So I'll suffer triple to have you girls because you're a blessing.
Because they are blessing.
Yeah.
So now you are this young mom, 3 kids.
3 kids. So the thing is,
Yeah.
because I've told you I've always been a focused person.
Yeah.
So I walk, nikasema, I am not going to bring a man. My children have not seen a man in my house. Never.
Never.
I have girls.
Yeah.
Because nowadays children don't do what you say. They do what you do.
They are observers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The way he walked out.
Now, talk to us about him walking out.
When my last born was 2 years.
Uh-huh.
Now my last born is 16. So my last born was 2. But when he walked out, you know what happened? Even though haki ya Mungu wanawake, ni nini mbaya na sisi seriously. I knew all these things. He the last straw, he took his own best friend's wife. His own best friend's wife. Akaenda na yeye. And then, unajua wameishi wapi? Pahali pale, wameishi na huyo mwanamke. Mahali pale. So he can even see me driving off. How can you do that? Alafu sasa unajua ni kama, mnakutana, you know the way UK is, ni kama Isili is all Isili. Yes. Wendy town. We don't go to central London. We don't go to town because everything is there.
Yeah.
So ukiishi hapo na mtu, hapo Isili tuseme, ukienda kwa sokoni, mnakutana. I used to meet him with this best friend of ours holding hands. Ay, my heart, I'll cry. I'll cry. Can you imagine?
And why are you together still?
No, that time alishaenda. Ameenda kachukua bibi ya mtu.
Na wamekaa the next block
na mimi. Bibi ya mtu. Na akaenda na yeye.
Your best friend's wife.
Yes, and his own best friend's wife as well.
Yeah.
Na akatuacha na ameniacha na watoto 3, ule pia ameacha bwanake. The lady pia ameacha bwanake na watoto wangapi? 3. Na wakamove na my ex.
Is this where we blame the devil?
The devil is not even there. He's not even there. Ulijibeba miguu zako kaenda.
But here is where we'll just blame the devil because how?
How? And you know, God, Lynn, if I tell you the story, man, I found them. You see how women can be or human beings, or some human beings can be so, I don't know, stupid. I was so stupid. I met this because what we used to do every Christmas, tunakutana Wakenya wengi, tunaenda kwa nyumba ya mtu. Even that stop, they broke that. Tunaenda kwa nyumba ya mtu, tunakaa, next Christmas tutakuja kwako, hivyo. And we're there for a week. All we do is eat, drink. I don't drink, but people would eat, drink and party. Hiyo nyumba huyo mtu tumeenda, naamka nashindwa, kwani ka boyfriend kako wapi? Nikienda jikoni, I find them kissing with that friend of mine. But kwa mind yangu, Lynn, unaweza fikiria kitu kama hiyo. Ninasema, this is just my mind telling me nonsense. Nikarudi kulala. So vile nimerudi kulala, I start dreaming. Sasa nasema, no, I'm just dreaming because I thought I saw. Nikaenda nikamwambia, kuja tulale. You know, nikamwambia kuja tulale. But I'm still thinking, did I see, did I not see? Now this girl, she was so good, she even gave me her 4x4 to drive. Because I didn't have a car, but she had a 4x4. Akanipatia ni drive ile nilitoka Kenya. So my neighbor, may his soul rest in perfect peace, is a white guy. Now watu wa white, watasema the way it is. So nimeenda Kenya for 3 weeks na watoto. Kurudi, kumbe the woman was in my house for those 3 weeks. This is my friend and is the best, unajua bwanake is your best friend. Sasa kurudi, niko na gari yake. Si amekuja kuchukua gari juu ameshajua I know.
Yeah.
She thinks I know, I think I know. I don't even know anything. I don't know what I saw, you know. So amekuja, my neighbor ananiambia, is that your friend? My neighbor huyo mzungu.
Yeah.
He passed on. Nimwambia, yeah. Yeye ndio the first person niliona na ripped jeans. Hey, so hizo msichana mengara. Kumbe mengara for my man. And then neighbor wangu akaniambia, that girl is not your friend. Nikamuuliza why? You know when you're in Kenya, she moved in your house the same day you went to Kenya. She moved out the same day you guys came back. So unajua nilikuja na watoto wangu. So my house. Nikasema you are lying. Nibongo akaniambia I'm not lying. Ask your boyfriend. And if he says no, tell him I told you. Simwambie somebody, say me.
Let him come to me.
Let him come to me.
Wow.
Nita deal. Sasa mimi nikapigia bwana huyu msichana. Nikamwambia, hey, where was your wifey time? Nikamwambia, you know your wife is having an affair. Huyu mwanaume ndiye alinitukana from head to toe. I mean, you think my wife is like your husband? That's your prostitute husband. Never, my wife is not like that. Nikamwambia, ni sawa. Hiyo 3 weeks bwana bibi yako alikuwa wapi? Si alikuwa kwa sistaki huko Luton, another city.
Yeah.
Okay, pigia sistaki umuulize. Akapigia sister. Sister hata juu what? Sister unajua innocently. I said, sasa shemeji eti poa. Where was my wife? No, your wife was not in my house. Because alikuwa juu what the guy was asking for. Bwana alikuanga mnono hivi, alikonda hivi. Nikamwambia at least mimi nimezoea. Now deal with it. So
Yes.
Nitukana.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
deal
your
with
wife
it.
is special.
So your wife is special.
She's
Your
an
wife is an
angel.
angel.
Deal with it.
Deal with it.
Yes.
Sale the man knew, akauliza bibi. That's the day the bibi naye pia kahama. Akamwambia, I'm in love. Me and this guy, we're in love. Akahama. They lived in that house for 2 years.
In your block?
They're next to me.
Let me take you back. So how exactly did he leave home?
Sasa, this my one is still at home. Okay, he's not leaving. And there's
Yes.
so many stories I can't even tell you because there's so many.
Yeah.
But he's still in my house.
Yeah.
Because me, I'm thinking I'm still holding on to this guy.
Yes.
And then nikaenda kuomba because I'm a very prayerful person. Nikaenda kuomba and to fast somewhere for 3 days.
Yeah.
Nikamwacha kwa nyumba. Hizi 3 days nikaambia Mungu, please don't take this man. Bado naomba Mungu ati don't take this man from me. Nikaomba Mungu nikasema nikienda kwa nyumba I'm going to give him an ultimatum. Whatever he chooses, I'm going to live with it. But I was scared, Lynn, because I knew what he's going to choose. Nikaenda
And it was
nikamwambia.
not you.
Yeah, it was not me. Nikaenda nikamwambia, and it was at night. And before I told him, I prayed again. I was shaking because I knew what he's going to say. Nikamwambia, hapa mali tumefika, we've got to a crossroad, okay? So you either take right or left, or we go straight pamoja. Aliniambia left and right anytime. And that's how we moved out. Left and right anytime. And that's how we moved out. Sijalianga. For 1 year, I couldn't move on. I could not. I was crying. I kept on calling his phone to kusikia sauti yake, and then he'd be like, hello? Nakata. At least that is, I mean, you know. But I made up my mind, and then I prayed. Nikambia Mungu, you know you cannot manipulate God, right? Nikambia Mungu, I'm going to pray for 2 years and fast for 2 years for this man to come back. If he doesn't come back, I still gave myself 2 years for this man to come back.
You were fasting?
Yes, and praying.
For someone who was cheating on you with the best friend to come back.
Even had a baby on top of it with someone else, not this one. Alizaa tena na mwingine ule friend yangu tena. That's why I'm saying this is a long story. Akazaa mvulana. Akakuja akaniambia, you know me, I only have girls.
Yes.
Akakuja akaniambia one day, ananipigia simu, ati maziwa imemwagika, and I'll come home and tell you. Sasa mimi I'm not even thinking he's pregnant. This is another girl. This is another girl. And you know what I hate? The name Rose. Anybody who is called Rose, if I see them, I run away. Because all these girlfriends, they've been Rose and they've all been nurses or working at the pharmacy. So nikisikia, ati unaitwa nani? Rose.
You run.
Hey, unafanya wapi kwa nimeishia. Mimi sitaki story. So this guy, amenipigia simu ati maziwa imemwagika. So he comes home and he tells me, yeah, you know that girl. And when they introduced me to this girl was the cousin. Okay? Amezaa. Hey, my heart. Nikasema amezaa. Yeah, a baby boy. The way he was talking about this boy, like, nikamwambia kwani watoto wako si children vile unaongea? No. This is my baby boy. Baby boy that he doesn't even see anymore. This is my baby boy. Anasema hivyo. Lynn, what followed next was what broke my heart. But I still let this man come back. Akaniambia anaenda kuishi huko for 2 weeks. Kwa sababu msichana alifanyiwa cesarean. Na mtoto huyo msichana ameenda sijui which country, Turkey, for kufanya replacement. No, the woman cannot look after herself. She had C-section. So I have to go there and help her. Nikasema, why don't you bring the baby in my house? Nikamwambia hivyo, bring that baby in my house, I'll look after that baby, but you can't go. Akaniambia, if that was you, will you give another woman your child? Hell no, I'm going there. So I started crying. This was him. Unalia? Akafanya. Nakamka kaenda. So nimeenda kwa dirisha ya choo, I opened, I'm like, namuita na jina. Sweetheart, please don't go. Anaenda. Nimebaki ninalia. After 2 weeks, the man still came back and I opened all the doors. Mlango zote, unajua? Mlango ile na mlango ile yote bado ilifunguliwa. The man came back.
And you cooked for him? Of
course. Sinakwambia nilifungua mlango zote. Cooked. So after this one is when now akaenda kwa the best friend. That's now when I said enough. Bado hata hiyo enough, instead of mimi kumwambia atoke, bado nampatia ultimatum. So kama angedanganya sema I choose you, bado angebaki. Why was I even giving an ultimatum? And then after ameenda, bado I starved myself for 2 years at I'm praying for him. But see, niliambia Mungu after 2 years, ata akuje amechange, akuje amecrawl, akuje na gari sijui Range Rover, I will never in my life take him back, because I know it's not your will, because I've given myself 2 years. Ziliisha. Hata saa hizo zikisha tulikuwa baada hata tuongei tunatukanana tu. Vile ilisha hivi nikasema that's it. Now I'm ready to move on.
And the kids, was he coming to check on them?
No. What?
Oh, no.
Never. Na Lynn, I love those girls with everything, and the girls, we love each other. Me and them, 4 of us, we're like sisters. We are so close, all of us. We are like this. Because that's how I brought them up. Sasa junajua manati susisawa madansa. So every time nikienda kuperform, I take them like my handbag. Tunaenda tunaperform. So all of them, they know my work. This one can, nikisema you do drumming, this one will do drumming, this one will do this, this one will do this. So nikasema I will never bring a man in my house ati kunisaidia. Why am I bringing a man? I can do it myself. I've done it for 2 years myself, so I can continue doing it. So I continue doing it myself, and I brought up 3 beautiful angels.
And they're not asking you, Mommy, why is Daddy?
No, because my firstborn, she was old already, so she saw
what was going on.
She saw the crying, she saw everything. And then I never tell my children not to talk to their dad.
Yes.
And I never say anything negative about the dad.
But
they can see. So later, they were still talking to him when they were younger. Yes. They still talk if he phones. Because when they were older, I got them phones. Nikamwambia sasa mkuna simu is between you and your dad. I don't want to be in the middle. Even when you're talking to your dad, I don't want to know. Just talk to your dad, because he's your dad. Whatever happened between me and him
is us. And he'll forever be your dad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So alikuwa naongea mpaka the first one akahit 18. Akamdanganya ma promises, wakacha kuongea. The second born sijui tena wakafanyana nini, wakacha kuongea. So the first and the second, they don't really talk. But the last born is still friends like this.
Yes.
So I started learning, and then that's when I realized it's not even that I didn't like school. It's because the opportunity was not presented for me to go to school.
Yeah.
So I even went to uni. I did business.
Oh yeah.
Yes, so I've business kidogo utaona nimegraduate.
Yes.
I've graduated already.
Good.
I've Cambridge University.
Yes.
Nimesha graduate already, but because of COVID,
Yeah.
hatugenda kuvaa zile manguo, but
Yes.
we are going in April.
Oh. Congrats, my
Yes,
sister.
so I did business. Right now I'm a financial advisor.
Oh, yeah.
I'm doing insurance.
Yeah.
And I'm also an Nollywood actress. So I'm the only Kenyan in the UK, Nollywood actress.
Yeah.
I'm also a philanthropist. I've
Yeah.
received so many awards because of what I do for the community.
Yeah.
And then I also started an event called Kenya and Friends,
and
in,
Friends
the
in the
Park.
Yeah.
So with this, how this one was born was one of the ladies. I know one lady. I knew her.
Yeah.
Not like she was not my friend, but I just knew about her. And then she committed suicide. And she left a note and said this because she was lonely. So I'm thinking, Jesus, how can we be so lonely and do this? And then when I was still processing the thought, another Ugandan girl as well died. And 5 days later, a 5-year-old died. For what? Starvation. I was like, no. How can you die of starvation? Where's the community? Where's the society? Where's the government? But because probably she didn't have papers, so she was scared to go and ask for help. So, and then the other thing as well that made me start Kenya in the Park is about unatumanga pesa nyumbani. Do you know how much people send home? Unaambiwa unajengewa nyumba. 3 things happen. There's nothing, totally nothing. Second, kuna kanyumba ukiingia unashika hivi walls because the nyumba is like this.
It's like this.
Ulituma 1 million, walitumia only
Umejengewa,
1,000
yeah,
ka
there
box.
you go. Yes.
Or the third one, watajenga nyumba. They will spend every money you send, wakajenga nyumba poa, but kwa jina yao. You see? So that house is not yours.
Yeah.
And all that, nikasema, all these things are happening. Like I said, I always look for things. Nikasema, why can't I start something to bring all Kenyans together? And then instead of us sending money to your mom or your dad, for us to restore that relationship, why can't we just have me and the investor?
Yes.
How can I do this? Now Kenya and Friends in the Park was born.
Yeah.
That's when it was born, 2015.
Yes.
And then I sold the idea to people, to everybody, but only one person.
Yes.
And her name is Mercy Kimintha. She's the one person at that time. Now we have a team.
Yeah.
But at that time, she's the only person who bought
into
the
the
vision.
idea.
She bought into the idea. She bought into the vision. And since 2015 until now, we're together.
Yes.
Everywhere we go, we're together.
Yeah.
So me and her, we started this and we were running. So the first day, 2015, we didn't even know what's going to happen. But we had 3,500 in attendance. God. But we had investors who were so skeptical because we've never done this before.
Yes,
So they were like, no, we don't want to sponsor it. We don't know what this is.
Yeah.
Then 2016, it started growing.
Doors started opening.
Doors started opening.
I love
People
this.
started calling us, you guys.
Kenyan Friends in the
Kenyan
Park.
Friends in the Park.
Yeah.
Kenyan. And
Kenyan
now
Friends in the
yeah.
Park.
So
Yeah.
now it's so big that a lot of people know about it.
Yes.
We work with the Foreign Affairs here in Kenya.
Yeah.
We work with the UK embassy,
Yes.
in Kenyan embassy in the UK.
Yeah.
Because when we bring investors, we don't want these investors wakwe pia doji.
Yes.
Because au pia wanaweza kuwa doji.
Yeah.
So we go to the Foreign Affairs office and ask them, have you heard of Optiven?
Yes.
Have you heard of this? Have you heard of these people? Wanasema, yeah. These
How
people in our
credible
books.
are they? Exactly.
Yes.
Because credibility, number one. Yes.
So ndio tunawaleta Kenya in the Park. So
Yes.
we come every year, we come to Kenya to open doors for business people who want diaspora clients.
Yeah.
So anybody who akona business, sometimes you can have a business na inaoza kwa shelf.
Yes.
You need to market it.
Vamp it.
Because marketing is the most expensive thing, not
is.
even the product itself.
Yes, it is.
So tunakufungulia diaspora clients. Unataka kuja UK, Kenya in the Park kuleta products zako.
Yes.
We have a platform.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a fee to that, but we can do your visas for you. We can do everything for you, and you come and sell your product or your services.
Yes.
But we have to ask the Foreign Affairs first, is this person credible?
And that's why collaboration is
important.
Yeah.
Very, very important. Because if
Yeah.
we work by ourselves, then watu wa diaspora wataibiwa. because there's a lot of organizations or companies wale tu they're only out to look for diaspora.
Yes.
Na wanaibia. And diaspora, these people work like mad.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we work like mad.
It's a lot. You know, I love when you said the whole idea behind Kenya and Friends in the Park was because you wanted people to come together as a community. I cannot tell you the number of emails I received with people saying, Lynn, yes, I'm in the UK, I'm in the US, but I'm depressed. Have you seen results? Are people coming together through Kenya and Friends in the Park?
Oh my God.
Has it created the community you imagined?
I'm telling you, there's one day, right?
Yeah.
This one touched my heart, like proper touched my heart. Kenya in the Park, through Kenya in the Park watu wameoana. Through Kenya in the Park watu wale walikuwa jaonana for 20 years. Unajua those days when we left,
Yes.
the mobile phones zikukua. You know mobile phones si vitu zimeanza, they just started recently.
Juzi, yeah.
Yeah, so kuna watu walikuwa jaonana for so long. So Kenya in the Park wamekutana. Oh my God, 20 years, 15 years, whatever years. So people, because it's also socializing and networking as well.
Yeah.
And as you network with somebody, you also realize, oh, kumbe ufanya hii, mimi pia ufanya hii. So can we work together? People now have keys to their own homes here in Kenya. Mtu ashaniambia siku hizi mimi ni landlord, Lydia. Thank God for Kenya and Friends in the Park.
Good.
We have landlords, we have marriages, we have friendship rekindled again. But one girl, she kept on calling me. Nasema, who is this? She kept on calling me. One day nikapik. So najua tu vile pia unaweza pata, because a lot of people call. So you can't help everybody. So this one, nikasema there's something about this girl I picked up. Akaniambia, thank you so much for Kenya and Friends in the Park, what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. I want to take you for dinner.
Yeah.
So I went. What this girl told me, nikasema whatever it is, Kenya in the Park inaendelea. That's why even 2020 we did it, but it was virtually.
Yeah.
She told me, no calling names or anything, she said when she came to Kenya in the Park, when her sister called her in the UK, her sister's husband was raping her. Her sister knew, and her sister chased her out instead. So she suffered. Do you know, when she came to Kenya in the Park, she met that man. And she said, Lydia, when I met the man, I felt I'm surrounded by Kenyans. You cannot touch me. When she told me that, Lynn, that touched my heart. Nikasema Kenya in the Park is not going anywhere.
God bless it.
That girl called me to tell me that she doesn't know me. She said, thank you for Kenya in the Park.
Good job, Lydia.
I just naturally, akaniambia, if I met the man in the streets, I don't know what I would have done.
But right here, I felt protected.
I felt all my Kenyans are here. What can you do?
What can you do?
Ananiambia alimwangalia kamuonea huruma. I felt sorry for him, and I looked at him and I walked off. He was expecting me to start shivering. I looked at him like,
thank you.
You can't touch me because where I am right now, I'm protected.
Yes.
Naka walk away.
Naka walk away.
So she really wanted to just get me and tell me that.
Yeah.
Nikasema Kenya in the Park is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Forget wale my landlords, forget people who've married, forget wale wamesha kutana. That
it's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere.
Let me take you just a little back. You mentioned, even throughout staying with your ex-husband, you saw the red flags, you stayed, and I was just telling you about some weird thing and ignoring red flags and what happened to me. And why was it important for you to finally say, I can do this? Because you see, walking away is not, walking out is not as easy as people say it. It's years and years of enduring emotional abuse. But looking back, why was it important? And someone who is still stuck at that place, what would you love to tell them?
And I always tell this to my girls.
Yeah.
I've really empowered my girls, okay? But sometimes it's too much. I have to calm them down. My friend, it's too much. I say, and I know this one, I'm just going to be a devil's advocate, and I'm also going to be contradicting a little bit here. I always say that if you're in an abused relationship, it's your fault. It was my fault, Lynn. It was my fault. You know why? I gave him the power. I took my power and I gave it to him. And he played with it, juggled, he did whatever he could with my power. The day I took that power back, that's the day I knew who I was. Because now I have my power back. That's the day I knew my self-worth. But I was in this relationship for 17 years, Lynn. So it wasn't 7 years, it wasn't 7 days. It was 17 good years before I realized that my power, I've given it away. So I always tell my girls, if you allow somebody to do that, you've given them your power. Do not give anybody your power.
That much power.
Don't give anybody your power. Hold it. Know your worth, know your value before you get. And the thing is, that's why I love now, because we do have a lot of motivational speakers out there. We do have a lot of books. We do have a lot of people that you can go and talk to, like Lynn. We didn't have those in my time. We didn't have anybody like that. My mom never spoke to me, never spoke to me and told me, because I know she was busy looking after all of us, so I can't blame her for that. Yeah, but my children, I talk to them every time, Lynn, because I said my children will never go through what I went through. I said, if you meet a boyfriend, first of all, your boyfriend tells you, don't tell your mom. That's one red flag. Why are you telling her, don't tell your mom? What is it that if she tells her mom is going, do you understand? Or don't tell your friend, Lynn, you see that your friend, I don't like her. What? Don't let anybody come to your life start telling you, because that's what they do, right? I don't like Lynn, because I'm so much in love, Lynn Amanda. I don't like Lydia. Before you know it, you have no friends. You're by yourself. Oh, don't tell this, don't tell this. Your child stops telling you stories, or you stop telling your friends or whatever. So now you're by yourself. You have all this luggage, all this. Now you're walking like this because you have all these secrets. You can't share with anybody. You're by yourself. You're being beaten. Ianzangi tu atichwa. Inazanga small doses. Baka say dozi ikifika hivi, he has you kabisa, because you've given him your power. And that's why I always say, people will be like, oh, but Lydia, you can't say that. Me I'm a devil's advocate. I'm always straight, and I'm saying this because I went through the same thing, and it's because I gave my power away. Don't give your power, Lynn. And the first red flag, don't pick it. Ukayeka, because that's what women do. Tuna pick red flag, tuna pile.
Until.
Those abuse don't know. Yanzangi tu siku moja.
It's a compilation of so many things.
Inazanga, those. The first dose. Deal with it. The first dose. Nabianga watoto wangu, mtu akiku, hey, fast hivi. Nah.
Deal with it.
No kubebana na maflag. And that's what I did.
I want to wind up, Lydia, but I can't before thanking you for coming here on the show. But before I can even wind up, what would be your parting shot to our audience? And is there anything that you think we should have touched that we have not touched on?
Well, what I can say is, wherever you are right now, the situation you are right now, that's not the end. That is the beginning of who you are. I know sometimes it's easier said than done. You can see somebody who has it all, and you're thinking, yeah, but it's okay for you because you have it all. No, this person did not just have it all. There's a cup that they drank from. And the other thing I want to say, don't ever look at somebody and say, I want to be like Lynn Ngugi, I want to be like Lydia. No, because if Lynn Ngugi tells you, you're not taking just the good, you're taking the good, the bad, and the ugly. Can you manage that? So you should pray to God and say, make me a better version of who you created me to be. That's what you should aim at. Who God created you to be. No, you want to be like Lynn or Lydia, because when now God gives you the bad of Lynn and the bad of Lydia, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
You won't be able to handle it. So all I can say is, guys, whatever you're doing, just be focused, consistency, and determination. And don't ever allow anybody to project their fears on you. Don't allow anybody to say, oh, you can't do it, Lynn. You can't do it. Because I'm even sure when you are doing this, some people probably were negative about it and like, oh, but how can you do it? Don't allow anybody to project their fears on you. And don't believe projections that don't empower you. Only believe on things that empower you. If somebody's been negative towards you, manipulating towards you, condescending towards you, my friend, drop, delete, and move on.
Drop, delete, and move on. I love that. Where can people find you?
Well, my name is Lydia Tett Olet, so I'm still on Facebook.
Your name is so unique.
I know.
Yes, it's the one and only. Like, I don't think we have another person with such a name in the world.
This red hair is a brand. Nobody has it. My name is unique. Nobody has it. And you too, you need to be unique. So my name is Lydia Tett Olet. The same way. All across the social handles.
Yeah, thank you, Lydia. I know Kenyan Friends in the Park is one of the events that I'm definitely going to attend. someday. I might not know when exactly, but I only know I'll go to the UK through Kenyan Friends in the Park. That's the only way I know. Even my director, the legendary Edwin Ochieng, last year we were so psyched up, we are going to the UK. I always say God's timing is the best, and everyone watching us in the UK, they have to know I will one day go there through Kenyan Friends in the Park, because I think what you are doing is wonderful. What you are doing is impactful, but I cannot also negate the role that you've played in my life. I remember when my big sister was in hospital, when she was in hospital with baby David, and you kept sending me prayers, and you kept calling me, and you were like, close your eyes, let's pray, and you fasted for us, and you went all out, and see it worked. So when we come together, when we partner, when we collaborate, when we have genuine intentions towards each other, I know so many things can happen. I know your schedule is very tight. By the way, she flies out tomorrow, guys. So I don't take this for granted that you even made time for the show. You are there also for our live show at Jane Bavan. You are a true sister. And now we can finally say we had Lydia Tett Olet on our set. And to you, my friends who are watching this, thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of LNS. Yeah, proudly powered by our friends at Optiven. Thank you so much, Optiven, for what you are doing here on the show. And as I said when I started, check out the amazing properties they have at Great Oasis Nanyuki. Grab yourself a piece of land if you can. You know me, I would never sell you lands or real estate or anything if I've not done my background check, and I can tell you, I can vouch for Optiven. Go out there, talk to them. Their customer number is right here on the screen, or you can directly get in touch with Faith Esther through this number, and she will be able to walk you through the kind of properties that they have. Don't get caught, my people. I'm telling you this because I can stand and say, if Optiven one day they do something wrong, I'll hold myself accountable for having been the person that referred you to them. So go out there, check their properties, and of course to thank my amazing team, my legendary camera. Kuja usalimie watu bana, wamekumi sana. Salimia, our legendary camera person, and you've met Lydia finally.
Yes.
How does it feel?
I feel happy because I'm one of the guys supporting by watching. Everything she does.
Yes. Yes, Edwin is a great fan of you. So thank you so much, our legendary camera person and director. Apendangi kuitwa hapo, but sometimes I like surprising him once in a while. So for the amazing work he does behind the scenes, this job would not be complete without him. And of course, our amazing editors, Chebet Kirui and David Muredi, for compiling these episodes and making sure they reach you right on time. Not forgetting our mentor, Saveli Barashkov, all the way in Ukraine. Thank you for teaching us the importance of bringing stories that will definitely impact lives. We don't take your contribution on the show for granted. And of course, if you want to share your story with me, my email is right here on the screen. Send a summary of your story, and who knows, we could be sitting with you on the next episode of LNS. Take good care of my people. Subscribe. Lydia has a YouTube channel. I'll be linking it up. It will be pinned on the comment section. Her social handles are right here on the screen. Reach out to her. Ask her question. Muulize watu wanaenda UK lini, you never know, sawa? And yeah, so see you next time. God bless and take care of yourself. Bye bye.